I'm Caleb.
I'm Haley.
And I'm having
Coffee with my ex.
Wow, that feels so good.
It feels really good.
It's been a moment. Oh, God, yeah.
We're going to act like I'm not here.
If you're just listening to this, Cameron is here, obviously.
Yeah.
You guys
I live here.
Yeah, but like he's joining us today in this conversation.
Yeah.
Before we talk about Cameron, we should probably say that we're in the same room.
Yes.
Now.
It feels. This is crazy.
For the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
Like 4 episodes.
Yeah.
And so now the country's starting to loosen social distancing a little bit. Mm-hmm. We're still wearing our masks. We're not like going out and playing and going to the clubs or bar. Like
right. I'm still not leaving my home.
Right. So we're still social distancing. We're just like we've loosened the restrictions on ourselves.
Yeah.
To each other.
Yes.
Yeah. Instacart is doing all the shopping.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It's a little expensive, but it's fine.
So why is he here?
The people want him. The people have asked for Cameron, and so we asked him last night if he would be on the show today.
Well, no, you've been asking for weeks.
We have, and each time he asks what his fee will be.
Right. Right.
And I told him that whenever we make something, then maybe we'll throw him a dime.
I'm doing this out of charity because I saw the...
all of this is charity.
I saw the profit loss statement for last quarter. And so...
You saw the what?
The profit loss statement. So...
Not every business is profitable in its first year.
That's
okay?
right. That's right. Good job.
Oh my goodness.
We spent literally $200, right? To get $300 to get these mics in stands, which aren't even good
and my new
mics
headphones
in
and my
stands.
headphones.
And then you had to buy things for your photo shoot, and then you had to pay for your podcast platform.
So like he won't shut up until. Although we just made our first $100.
Yeah, we did
on YouTube.
On
yeah.
YouTube.
But you didn't. That paid for your mic.
Okay, look at it, Cameron. This is a great segue into the conversation. So we should introduce people who don't know you. Maybe they're just discovering this.
I don't know how they wouldn't know.
They might not be that invested, like in our lives.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Cameron is my boyfriend. He is Haley's girlfriend. And
When we're a throuple.
boyfriend. Cameron's also our manager. Mm-hmm. And is there any other roles that you take? Sometimes
Photographer, dancer, PR.
Yeah, dancer, producer, agent,
Sound guy. Yeah.
audio tech,
Maker of our logo.
did make the
graphic designer,
Yeah.
merchandiser.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
So he does a lot.
Yeah.
And he's like the jack of all trades.
No one can come into this team and be like one-dimensional. You have to know how to do everything. And you
Right.
may hate it every step of the way. Like, do I love editing this podcast? No, it's not my passion.
Does she love editing Best of Booties?
No, I don't. It's not my passion.
Does she love setting up her mic?
No, do not. But I do love sitting here and talking. I'm really good at that.
You're born to be on screen time. But yeah, so you guys kind of probably wanted to know what Cameron does and how he's involved in our lives day to day. And Cameron and I have lived together for the past, 5 years? Four years?
4.
Has it been 4 years?
I think so, because I am the type of person who, when I get in a relationship,
I mean, that's like any like gay people. They move in much faster than the straights because they're not used to having connection.
Oh.
Once it's real, like once it gets past just like a one night stand, it's like forever.
Yeah.
If you can make it past that, but we didn't even have sex the first time we met.
Yeah, let's get into, how did you guys meet?
My grandma is listening.
That's a good
to
thing.
this.
That's a good thing.
Oh, that is good.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we waited until
Till
marriage. So how did we meet?
Keep it short because I'm so tired of hearing the story.
Well, they aren't.
I'm sure that a
What
lot
was
of
it?
people
Wait,
have
Cameron,
heard.
what day was it? What day did we meet?
June 10th.
That's
Do you
disgusting.
know the time?
It was around 8 p.m.
Oh my God.
So we met at the gym, but we weren't working out. Well, I was working out. I was teaching new students that were coming into our college. I was like doing a demo, like a dance demo. So I was doing Anaconda, and Cameron came on with the students because he was the orientation leader. Right?
Well, no, that year I was a program assistant, so I didn't have students. I was just there, being me.
Being you. And so my gaydar went off
That's
immediately.
what he does now.
He walked in. I could just like see like a little like thing coming out of his head. It was like boop boop homosexual. So I found him after my shift was off because he was just like piddling around, and I had never talked really to a boy before or in a very long time, and so he was the first guy I went up to, and I was just like, hey, like what's up, man? And we hit it off, and I saw his name tag. And
Did we hit it off, though? Because it was an awkward conversation.
It was an awkward conversation.
Every conversation with you, Caleb, is awkward.
I'm not great.
You were, like, asking, like, random... like, why are you here? Like, what do you do? It was just, like, weird.
What was I supposed to say?
And then I was like, I need to go. I have other things to do. And then you found me on Instagram.
Yeah, I did. I social stalked him, obviously. Went through all the channels, commented on, or liked 3 of his Instagram pictures, an old one, a middle one, and like a new one to show my level of interest, but not too much. I don't want to like 4 pictures. But he reciprocated.
But that was pretty instant, because I was walking to my next station, and I was with my friend, and I opened up my phone, and I was like... that guy at the gym just liked all these
hot
pictures.
Guy in the tank top at the
and then
gym.
I was like, I'm just going to see what happens. Because I didn't know if you were going to DM me or what. And then I didn't do anything until that night when I got home at like midnight.
So we eventually kept talking, started dating. And that, I feel like, transitioned very quickly from we started dating. And then within a couple months, we moved in together.
Damn.
And
literally, no, that is just not how it works in the straight world for anyone who has sense.
Where were we? Well, because, because we started dating July 15th, and then I had a job working at the dorms, but then I was like staying at your apartment all the time, and then you moved into the dorm.
Well, no.
And then the next year we moved into a house.
I forgot that you used to live in the dorm with him.
We moved in together after a couple months just because I'm very clingy and I love wifing up as soon as possible. But
that's not wifing up.
Oh my God. So we moved in together, but the roommate situation was not good. And my roommates at the time did not take a liking to you.
Well, he was just like some rando that like moved into their apartment.
Yeah, looking back, it was weird.
Yeah.
It was weird. And it's not like we were having like adult conversations that time. I was just like, yeah, I'm staying here. Like,
yeah.
It just got to the point where he was always there but not paying rent, and they were like,
yeah,
I would have been
gonna
pissed
live
too.
Here, then he should split the rent. And like, yeah, they're right.
Yeah.
And like utilities and stuff.
And then I was like, yeah, that's like when they finally brought it up to me, because they were like really mad at me. And I was like, and then they brought it up, and I was like, that's fine.
Yeah, but then it just like got bad eventually. Even
I think
after
it's because
you
like
moved in.
also like you aren't the best communicator.
No, he's
so,
not.
Like you weren't
and not
talking.
competitional
Like
at
you
all.
weren't talking to them at all, and they were just mad. And then like you were just avoiding it, and we would like lock ourselves in your room.
Yeah, it was awful.
God.
So we ended up getting out of that situation, and we moved into.
I did not ask you guys your rental history. I asked you how you met. We answered that question. Moving on. Like what?
Well, we've lived together for a long time.
Like I do not care.
Short story.
I said keep it short.
Short story. Cameron and I moved into his dorm, and
The story is over. The story is done.
We've lived together for like 5 years.
Oh my God. Okay.
4.
Dear God. Okay, so moving on. So the first time I met Cameron, how long had you guys been dating at that point?
I think it was pretty soon.
Well, it was like August, right?
Yeah, because I just moved into my house on
Yeah.
Neely. I think I've mentioned my house on Neely so many times.
Because we met June 10th, started dating July 15th, and then in August, because we went to Muncie.
Yeah, so Muncie is where I went to college, and they would always come down, and like we would party, and by party I just mean hanging out at my house and drink.
Yeah.
So, but the first time So the first time I met you, you were having a lot of medical problems, right?
I was pretty high.
Yeah, and you were on Percocet?
He was on lots of
Percocet.
stuff. Yeah.
He was on lots of stuff because he actually like was prescribed that, not because he was taking it recreational.
Yeah, it wasn't recreational, and I wouldn't. There's certain things I would take recreational, but not that.
He was like a zombie for a really long time.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You weren't talking to people. It was really hard to communicate with you.
And that was my first time like meeting him. He was on Percocet, but he was like fine. I didn't really like notice anything.
I was about to say, like, what was your first impression of him?
I was just like, oh, he seems like quiet and shy.
Which is so...
But, like, I get it. Like, no one's like, I'm not like that either when I first meet someone. And he, like, is engulfed in all these people that you know and I know. And in a kind of crazy environment. You know what I mean?
I think also Cameron is just someone who... You're not, like, first impressions aren't your favorite. You're more reserved and closed off. You're not, like, we're the type of people who just, like... open up and spill. Like I trust everyone I meet and think they're gonna be my best friends.
No, I'm not that way.
No.
Don't
Okay,
put me
well,
in that
I
bubble.
guess I just am. But Cameron, you're like the exact opposite. Where you're
I think
very closed
Cameron's
off.
me, and it kind of like me in the sense of like he's like, "Are you gonna be worth my time?"
Yeah.
So I think that
I feel like I waste a lot of time meeting people.
I think
that I don't.
Am
care
I
about.
gonna be worth their time?
No.
But I meet him, and everyone's like drinking. Did you drink? I don't think he did.
I might have like one.
Yeah, but he was like on Percocet, so he wasn't like drinking a lot. If you had to drink at all. But we were token up, like I mentioned before. I was a big stoner in college, and so we were all token up. And Cameron decides to take a hit out of a bong. Was it a bong, or was it out of a bowl? You know, it doesn't matter. You shouldn't have.
No, whatever it was.
He turned into a whole ass zombie.
It was scary.
It was really scary.
Was cross-faded. That's why that term was created.
Yeah.
Was for that moment.
You were like triple faded. Like I think like if you had a drink, you're on Percocet, and you had a hit out of a bong because I know we only smoked out of bongs.
Sitting on your bed, and you had a squeaky door.
Yep.
And it was closed, but then like you and Caleb came in there, and for some reason I thought that I was locked in a dungeon. And you guys came in there to kill me.
You looked at
and
me.
then you guys were sitting on each side of me, just like saying things, but
Like,
I didn't know what it was.
I remember, I will never forget the look on his face. Like his eyes were wide open. If you're watching this literally his face was.
And I thought, and I was trying so hard to say things,
You can see it in your eyes.
and it wasn't working. like
he's trying to say something. I just know it.
And that was the most I've ever derealized in my life.
That was beyond. You're on a different planet.
Shortly after that, Percocet was no longer in my life.
Yeah.
Just for the best.
And that was my first time meeting him. So.
What an impression.
What an impression.
what
I
a
felt so
night.
bad. Honestly, I like wanted to take care of him. I was like, he needs help.
Yeah, what a guy.
And I was like, what did I do? I did this. I did something. Like he came here and I broke him.
The Matrix.
Yeah.
So how did it transition? Like, at what point did you realize that you wanted to go from just being boyfriend to getting involved in the fitness marshal? Was there a moment?
Like, when we had first met, like, we had went on a few dates. And then I remember, like, after our first date, I went home. And then I was stalking you, like, more in depth. Mm-hmm. And then I found your, like, actual YouTube channel.
Yeah, because you didn't know.
Because I didn't know. I thought you
No,
were just
obviously you
teaching.
didn't know, Caleb. You had like 80,000 subscribers.
first
And
of all,
then...
yeah.
And then I saw these videos, and I was, like, sending you links, like, reacting to them in real time. And then you, like, had just hit 100,000 subscribers. And then right around, like, that same time as when, like, you had moved in. And then I was, like, on your computer one day and just, like, saw all of your emails. And then I was like, why aren't you doing anything? Because you were broke.
Why are you
You
living
were
in
broke as a
Brooklyn?
joke.
Like, because I remember I would be like, oh, do you want to, like, go, like, out to dinner? And you're like...
Cameron was your
Yeah.
sugar daddy for a while.
You couldn't go out to eat. And,
During the
and
time.
then you were like, oh, well... and then you'd be like, oh, well, I'm just going to eat at home by myself.
I hate when you do that.
And then I was like, oh, I'll just come over, like, we can cook together. And you're like, oh, I only have enough food for me.
I don't remember that.
Caleb, you got paid to go to college. Like, I don't feel bad for you.
You were...
You could have gotten a job,
poor.
like an actual job.
I had an actual job.
You
My
worked at the
passion was my
SRSC for like
job.
3 hours a week.
You were making no money. So I feel like, in a sense, I was doing it to save myself
That's what I figured.
from being in that kind of relationship.
From me being a financial burden.
Yeah.
I remember when I was choreographing work, like that time, I was doing it in his dorm. Like that's when we were living in the dorm room.
Yeah.
With a channel getting millions of views.
It's hilarious.
Over 100,000 subscribers.
Making less than $0.
Less than $0 is right. Yeah, so I remember you saying like you like saw emails and you were just like, okay, do so. What was like your first move?
Well, I was like on his computer. I saw the emails, and then I was like, "Hey, you don't like go through these? Can I and I found it was some random email, and I was like, hey, can I respond to this? And then you were like, yeah. And then I just kept doing it. And then it just kind of snowballed,
Never
honestly.
looked back. I will never forget.
Felt like a weight being lifted off my shoulder.
I'll never forget, like, the day something happened, and you guys called me, and you were like, okay, well, we booked this, and we booked this, and we booked this, and we booked, like, that was, like, around, like, Denver time, like, our first time going to Denver.
Like St. Louis and Denver.
Yeah. And I was like, what? I was like, what the hell is going on?
I was, like, answering emails and, like, doing more things, and then, like, that first show was Denver, and then you got me a ticket to Denver.
Oh, yeah, he wasn't supposed to come.
For Christmas, because you kept saying I couldn't go, and I was like, I'll pay for a ticket, like, I'll figure it out. And then
like, no.
You bought it for me for Christmas.
Yeah.
I remember that.
It was a Frontier ticket, so don't ever do that again.
And that was my first flight. It was a Frontier flight.
Like our first flight in bad turbulence.
Yeah, the
like your
worst
wine
turbulence.
shaking
It was
everywhere.
just
You're like, this is fine.
We didn't have wine on that flight because you pay for every single drink.
No, we bought
had
drinks.
the canned wine. I remember exactly what we had.
Oh, yeah, I was like, I was so excited to drink on a plane. So
Yep.
I got like I was drunk.
No, that was a time.
I mean, I was terrified for my life in that plane, and you were fine. And I was like, yeah, I think this is
It was.
normal.
I will never forget the plane taking off and being like, this is not right. This is not how, like.
It's still not right.
It's not. What was that first show like for you, Cameron? Did you feel like I'm doing shit?
That was fun.
That was a really
The
fun
Denver
show.
show, the show where he was literally like walking around through the crowd, live streaming
Oh
it.
my god! And he was hitting every accent.
I was live streaming on YouTube from the phone. I had to have a brick on there so it didn't die. And then I just remember like your mom texting you and being like, tell him to stop moving.
Because he was dancing his ass
And I was
off.
just like running around. Like I didn't care. I was like, I wasn't thinking about like the production value. I was just like, I'm just running around here like showing my friends. I didn't even think that I was like broadcasting to people.
Did you have to like get the stage and everything for that, or did
No.
you didn't have to do any of that?
I didn't do anything. I wasn't a part of it. That's why I wasn't gonna go. Because you were like, oh, you don't need to go. Like they're doing everything.
I think also before you started working with us, my perception of everything was that if you're just good enough and you put out great content, like someone's gonna pick you up and like good things are gonna happen and you're gonna get opportunities. And then I think you helped me realize that that's not how the world works.
Right.
And just being a creative person and putting out cool videos on YouTube is just one part of it, and it does not equal success.
No, it
Yeah.
does not.
For some people, it does though.
Yeah, I guess if you could have AdSense, but even AdSense is kind of awful now.
So
different for
what is your role? Like, how do you describe what you do now?
Like a title?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like the people just like want to know, like, what do you do besides like, because they see you dance in the videos, they know you like manage us, but like, what does that really look like?
It's a lot. Because I'm also like kind of like a fake assistant to you as well.
Your fake assistant.
Because like every morning I'll like
You really like he does my schedule now.
every morning I'll put his calendar together for the day, and I always like include time for him to like watch Philip DeFranco, or like I know that during this time he's gonna
Dear
like
God.
go off and like FaceTime Haley. So I have like blocks in his schedule that are just empty because I know that his ADD
Time
is
to
gonna take
pitter-patter.
over.
Yeah, you
And,
love
like
to
pitter patter time, like stare at the Brava for 10 minutes. So all that's caked in. So every morning I'll usually like go over his schedule, make sure like we can actually get things done.
Yeah.
And then a ton of like inbound stuff, reaching out to people, planning content, pitching,
Planning tours.
pitching brands, pitching music companies, talking to our lawyer. It's funny because just the other day you were on the phone with your mom and she was like, so is Cameron just hanging out every day now because you're not touring?
Oh
She
my
has no
God.
concept of
And
what he
I mean,
does.
no one has
Yeah.
any concept of what
I don't think she has a
do.
concept of what we
I
do.
mean, I'm sure my family thinks I just mess around all day as well. Like, I don't have a normal job. Like, none of us have normal jobs.
Yeah.
In the corporate sense.
Well, that's
But it's also like, whenever something like comes out or something happens, like everyone's like, oh, look, this just came out today. But there's also like months of planning that goes into literally every single thing that we do.
Right.
Like, and then keeping those things afloat and like making sure they keep running smoothly.
It's like daily tasks.
just daily just like the email blasts you do all the time, or just like every day I see him in there researching new platforms and programs for us to like do things on.
Yeah, whatever time is like left over, I feel like you're always like researching, like, okay, what's the next thing? Mm-hmm. He's very proactive.
Yeah, and like even right now, like with everything happening, like we have so much stuff that we're still working on and is still taking up so much of our time.
Right.
That like no one even knows about.
Right.
What do you feel like, how did you learn to do things? Like, you didn't have all these, I guess, skills before we started. Did you, because I think people assume that you just knew.
Right. He was ambulance. You were, what are they called?
I was an ambulance.
You were an ambulance. What are those called?
I was an EMT.
Yeah.
Well, because I went to school, got my degree in public health, and while I was in school, got my EMT license, and then I worked on an ambulance like one of the summers that you lived with my mom.
That was a good summer. I was there a lot.
That was a great summer.
I was working like 12-hour shifts on the ambulance.
That's why. It's because it was just me and Caleb every night.
Like you lived in my childhood home.
Yes, it did.
I feel like I did too.
Like alone, because I was working
Yeah.
all day.
That was
I'd be
weird.
gone. Did 9A to 9P.
Caleb, you're just a piggybacker.
And like you were just there.
Yeah.
I was like upstairs, like choreographing. Your like
Yeah.
mom's downstairs, like your brother's coming home from school, and I'm just
Yeah.
like doing Me Too.
Yeah.
In his old playroom.
Yeah, but I was going to graduate, get my master's, either go to Atlanta or DC
This is
for a
his life he
second,
envisioned for himself.
start working at the CDC, spice some shit up, and then move on with my life. And now here I am. And it's interesting because no, I don't, like, in a sense, have no idea what I'm doing. But also it's like that's how every career starts, and that's how people do.
Kris Jenner didn't know what she was
That's how
doing
you
until she
do-
knew.
That's true.
That's how you do different things as well. Like the CEO of Amazon, like Jeff, he started that in his garage, had no idea. It started off selling books.
Yeah.
And then ebooks, and now it's this massive company that's also like e-com and a million other things that they do. And so, I mean, every good business starts with someone that has no idea what they're doing.
I think it's better because then if it's not something that you've been doing for a long time, you don't get as jaded about it,
Yeah, there's
and
not a playbook.
there's like a fresh outlook
Yeah.
on like, okay, this is what is normally done, but you don't know what's normally done, so then you get to experience and like play with new things that no one's done before, and everyone thinks you're an innovator.
And you have to find out how to do things, because you can't just follow what everyone else has done,
Right.
because that's how you fail.
Well, that's what I've always admired about you, is you will just teach yourself and learn things. Like, you didn't know how to get sound or stage for a show, but you figured it out. You called people and you just made it happen. And that's something that I kind of have always had a hard time doing. Just your ability to like jump into tasks that you're unfamiliar with and teach yourself, I think, is why you're so valuable to the group, and why we've been able to turn making $0 into starting to make money and make a business, is because you've just jumped into things that you didn't know how to do and taught yourself.
And it hasn't been easy, and it hasn't been like perfect or great. Like looking back, I'm sure there's things like I would have done that differently, but also if I didn't do it that way, or if we didn't do like that specific thing, then we wouldn't be where we are, and I wouldn't have been able to learn and know that what I'm doing now is correct.
Yeah.
And is right. Like when we would rent equipment, bringing all of this stuff into some jank gym, like it's much cheaper like to do what we're doing now.
Yeah.
So it's like just learning those things, but also like you have to come from somewhere, and like at that point people loved that we were doing stuff in gyms, and now it's like they expect all these things from us because we're at a different level. So,
That's like the thing though, is like with anything successful, it never started out perfect. Like there's always a starting point you have to jump off of, and it's like scary because you know it's not gonna be perfect. You know you're gonna look back and be like, ooh, what the fuck was I thinking? But like that's all part of the story of like whatever brand you're working with.
And like even now, like with Caleb, like the other day we were talking like things that we're working on now. You're like, man, you've been trying to get me to do this for 2 years, and I've been so like against it. And now we're finally like, like look at all these things that we could be doing and how we could be like doing more.
Well, and also I think that we're starting to look at what we do, get into business ventures that we really wouldn't have before. Because before, I think I just wanted to create content that I loved and I wanted to perform. But it is a business, and you have to figure out how to make money, and there's just certain things that you have to do that you're not like passionate about, or that you like don't really care about in order to be able to do the things you want to.
And it's not like you're taking anything away like from your fans, because you've always been like, okay, well, if I charge them for something, then I'm not doing it out of like the goodness of my heart anymore, but you still are, and your time is valuable, so let people pay. They're willing to support you and let you live.
I love how we feel so bad charging for anything.
For anything.
But like that's part of the problem.
Like, and it's not like I'm like, we still think of like, okay, how can we make it accessible for every single person? And like, we don't want to outprice anyone or like not have anyone be able to do it because of money. But like at the same time, like, I mean, we've had really hard times as well, like especially moving out here, where it's like, well, shit, how are we paying rent next month? Or like, how are we going to do X, Y, or Z? And I mean, even last fall, like we had some stuff going on, and it's like, oh, you know, so.
It's like kind of this thing where you branch out and you have all these businesses like to keep yourself afloat, so then you can do the content and it like mean more to you. You know what I mean? Like this the content part, it doesn't feel like the work.
Yeah.
Like it's more fun.
And now that we have the Booty Army, it's like, okay, you know, like we can have like the YouTube channel and have like 2.5 million subscribers, which is great. And we know like every Tuesday when we're putting out a new video, it's like, oh, we're doing it for those people. But then when we have people that are actually paying, like the Booty Army, and we're like, okay, we're doing this every single Wednesday, a 60-minute sweat session. It's more tangible of like, okay, these people that are paying us are depending on us for this product. So I feel like we put more into that.
For sure.
Not that like we're putting the regular videos on the back burner, like we're doing those at an even higher rate, but it's just like having those people there and like knowing that like, okay, these are real people. They're supporting us. They want this product. They want what we're making. That makes it so much easier to like know we're doing things right. You know, and even with like selling merch and like, you know, is anyone going to buy it? Is anyone, like the first time we toured, you're like, is anyone going to show up?
I was so scared.
You know?
We both were. I remember that one show where Haley and I were like in the back room, the blue room, and it was in Indianapolis, and it was like that tiny little studio.
Oh my God!
And we were so scared that no one was gonna come. And I think we sold out both days, and it was like 25 people, but still.
Yeah, that was a big deal for us.
That was one of the first events that I put together, because you were like, no one will come, like no one's gonna care. And then because it was like, she posted on Facebook, I think, because she was like from where I'm from, and so I would just like emailed her and I was like, hey, and we like rented her little studio in Mooresville, Indiana, and then I was like at the front desk like selling shirts. It was just like with my whole family there, like. And they were just like.
I remember your mom came. Was Lacey there? Did your sister come?
I think so. I know my aunt and my cousin were there. My mom, and then my grandparents came because we went to like the restaurant next door. So that was crazy.
God, that was the beginning of it all.
Oh my God, shut up.
That's when we realized that we could start actually
like
making
there was a demand
somehow.
for people to come and see us live. Because for the longest time, again, you were like, no, that's not going to happen. No one cares enough. And then now we've, you know, done even more. And then like when we started touring, like Facebook was like insane. Like we were selling out venues, like getting tickets like crazy. And now it's so hard to pack a venue. Like we know we have that demand, hopefully.
It's hard for people coming into social media because it's so hard to get your things sold or for people to see your post when you're trying to do an event or get people to sign up for something. I feel like for us, the organic reach was still an option on Facebook and other places. And now it's just with the algorithm changes, it's really hard for new creators.
Okay. Awesome. We're good. Awesome talk, guys. We're going to get into the Q&A because there's some really juicy questions here. People are really excited that you're going to be on the podcast.
Wow.
The number one question that I'm getting is, how do you feel around, like, Caleb and I? Do you feel like, like, do you get jealous? Is the number one question. There's like 20 of them asking that.
I wouldn't say that I get jealous, but I do respect that you guys are still dating. At certain times, you need your alone time. You guys love to have your little kikis. And so I respect that. I'm not jealous of it. I mean,
Yeah, I never
you guys
did.
have been in love far longer.
The amount of times he like legitimately says like, "Oh, you're talking to your girlfriend?" Like, "Oh yeah, like your girlfriend's coming over," and he means it.
He means
I
it.
mean, you guys are basically in a relationship without any sex.
Oh my god.
That's really it.
Okay, Cam.
You guys will say no as long as you want, but you guys get true happiness from each other.
He's jealous. I think the answer is yes.
All right. Next question. What is your pet peeve of both Caleb and I?
Oh, well, for Caleb, my biggest pet peeve is your timeliness.
I'm fucking
Seems to be a
men.
theme.
Because you, like, I do make your schedule, but I always have to think of, like, all the other million things that you'll want to do, or what time is he going to get up today, or is he going to show up to this on time? So I do a lot of lying in that regard.
An intern lies to me.
It does trickle down to
It does
you.
trickle down to me, and I'm upset because I'm too timely. So he tells me to be there early, and I'm 15 minutes early, so then I end up being 45 minutes early.
And we end up being 15 minutes late.
So I'm sitting there for an hour.
What is my biggest pet peeve for Haley? This is interesting.
It is interesting.
It is interesting.
What is my biggest pet peeve?
I won't be mad. Everyone has a pet peeve. I'm just perfect.
I do feel that sometimes we have to hold your hand.
Yes, depending.
You like to be guided more than anyone in the group, I would say, right? Well, no, I'm trying to think like against like you and Allison.
Yeah.
I mean, I do love a good guiding.
Yeah. No, you all do. But I'm saying like she.
Like I can't even call someone on the phone.
Yeah.
That's true.
Like, I
Her
accept it.
first instinct is to always
Ask for help.
ask. That's not bad.
Yeah. I just like would rather just like cut the corners and just know first and foremost, like what, just tell me what to do.
It's fair.
Yeah, that's her that should be on your merch. Just tell me what to do.
Just tell me what to do.
Just tell me what to do.
Okay. Next is what your favorite things are about each one of us.
Little fitness man. I love your creativity.
Oh, cute.
Thanks.
Because I mean, we wouldn't be here if we didn't have like you following like your dream or your vision, or just like going out there, being creative. And I feel like you do get down on yourself a lot. Like after every shoot, you're like, that was bad, that was horrible. I don't want to put that out, but like that's why we're here, you know. And then for Haley, I was gonna say creativity, but I can't say the same thing. That's just rude.
What the fuck?
I like the what's the word? Like when you bring something different. I like that you're like not the norm. And you're always looking to do different things.
Cute.
And be like you're down for whatever, but you're also like you're always thinking of everything.
Even this podcast,
Yeah.
we wouldn't have done it without Haley being like, we need to do a podcast.
And even like it shows like doing like your own version of the choreography, but like still doing the choreography, or like being like at shoes and just like having your own personality there. And just being different.
Cute.
Because anyone can be like, not anyone can be a dancer, but anyone can like act like they're a dancer. But not a lot of people can like have a personality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's so many duds out there.
Yeah.
And so I'm just glad you're not.
I think Haley also has opinions,
Oh yeah.
and she voices
This is
them.
like, I'm
Yeah.
okay, yes, give it to me.
And I don't like...
Yeah, she does have opinions. And she does voice them.
and like we don't always agree. And
Yeah.
a lot of times I'm offended. I'm like, how dare you have that opinion when that's the opposite of mine? But then
Yeah.
it's just a good way to keep making like
No,
grow.
it's nice because we can have productive banter.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Like if we do something that makes her mad, like we'll know it. And that's good.
Yeah, we definitely mesh really well as a team,
Yeah.
I feel.
Yeah.
But we've also been doing it for so long that it just seems natural. And I think we'll do a whole podcast on like working with friends and stuff like that.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, my next question for you is, do you enjoy being a backup booty?
This is a loaded question. I mean, no. It's not what I want to be doing because
Right.
there's different pieces to it. I enjoy that I'm being a part of like this mission and like people really connect with me. They understand because I'm not a dancer. I don't really know what I'm doing and I'm just like giving it my all. So like I enjoy it. I want to support it. I'll be in videos like where needed. But on the flip side, like even the call I had the other day, it was like now all of my calls are like about me being in the videos. Like, oh, I just saw you. Or like I was talking to like Atlantic and they were like, what's the Backup Booties @ and like I had to send them my handle and I was just like
It's just like a weird
it's just
like,
weird
You don't like
because
where do
I
because
stand?
because then I'm like when I'm trying to be in those like authoritative moments of like give me all of your money
Yeah.
and then I'm the one that's
But you're
on,
still talent.
but then I'm the one that's on screen. So like in a business sense, I'm not in love with it. But then also on the flip side, I'm like, no, this is great because like people can connect with me. They understand. Like they're able to see someone else dancing there. But
Also,
so
like in like
it's
tours, like when we're on tour and stuff, and you're trying to like
Yeah.
manage the door, and people are like, Cameron, like let's get a picture together,
Yeah.
and you're like, okay, well I also have to do this. Like I'm doing a
just
million things.
over time, like just having that like recognition. That's why I like for a different tour. Like I want to have someone else there that's just like a neutral party that we don't like.
He's too famous.
Like that they don't exist. Like I want them to think that like that person is just someone that works at that venue.
Yeah.
I don't want them to know that they're acquainted with us.
Yeah.
And so just because like when I am checking people in, like I'm checking in 300 people in a 30-minute time
And
frame.
they all know who you are.
But then I'm also like running meet and greet, so I have to like control that.
And they
then
also
people
want a photo with you.
pictures.
And then they want pictures like with me or like in meet and greet. They want me in the meet and greet. So it's just a lot to juggle because it's like I do wear all these hats. So adding that hat makes everyone that is a fan be like, I want to talk to you. I want to like know about you.
Absolutely.
And they feel like they know me. So I'm not mad about it.
Right.
But it does make it hard.
Okay, last question. Why didn't you want them to do the podcast at first, and how did you do that logo so quickly?
Who asked that? Was that you?
No.
No.
Was it either of you?
No.
I'm uncomfortable at whoever this is. Well, in all honesty, was it because we just had, and we still do, we have a lot going on. There's a lot of things we're working on. And I just wanted to make sure that all of our time was being put towards something that was helping grow the business. So I was like, if I don't see like a reward, like instantly, I guess, or like if I don't understand, like, okay, this is how it's going to help us, or this is what it's going to do. And then I was also like, the podcast market is very saturated. So like, are all of our fans going to want to listen to it? Whatever. There's a million little pieces. And then the logo, I was just sitting there while you were filming the first
recording our
episode.
first episode.
And so I was like, okay, if they're going to do it, they might as well just
He saw us
do
give
it.
the hard work. He saw us hard at work, and he was inspired.
And I was like, if my name's going to be near this, then they need to have something
That's
real.
what it's actually about.
And so I was just on there. I drank an entire like Yeti of cold brew.
Yeah, you
I was,
did.
I was
You were
cracked
cracked
out.
out.
Yeah.
Like that. I haven't been that cracked out in a minute. And I was just like going in, and I was like looking at Starbucks logo, and then I was like, what if I could turn a coffee bean into like a microphone, and then like the Wi-Fi thing, and then I was like, well, what? So I was just throwing things around, and I don't know Photoshop, but
But you do.
But you figured it out.
but I figured it out.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't great. Like the first pass wasn't like it. There was like obviously other tweaks to be had,
But you made something.
But
and
I
then,
made
then
it.
we ran with it and used it. So
and now here it is.
Yeah.
What a logo!
what a logo.
What a logo. I love that logo. Okay. Wow.
Wow.
How excited are you that you are our first guest on Coffee with My Ex?
What a time.
What a time. Okay,
What a
but
podcast.
this is kind of our tradition on the podcast. We have two little traditions. The first one is what like music, podcast, movie, show you're loving right now to recommend to our viewers.
Well, I would always recommend Pure Heroin by Lorde.
Oh my God.
The entire album, especially right now when you're so emotional, just listen to the whole thing, cry a little bit, and then have some wine.
Cameron and I stayed up till 6 a.m. blaring Pure Heroin
Yes, you did.
and taking shots at 5 a.m.
Yes, we did.
And I fully regret it, but I think that everyone should do it at least
I
once.
was hungover for 2 days after that.
That was the worst hangover of my life.
It was bad. It was really bad.
Yeah.
They were playing music so loudly that I tried to put myself to bed at 5. and I could not sleep because the music was blaring. And
Found him in the closet.
I went into the closet. I brought my pillow. I set my pillow up so that if you opened the door, it wouldn't hit my head and break my neck. Yeah. And I just laid my little head down to sleep, and I was out. And then I woke up to Cameron like opening the door, and then Haley laughing at me. But I tell you what, I had a great. I mean, the sound was gone the moment I shut that closet door.
We should record the podcast in your closet.
It's a wonderful soundproof room. I mean, they had no regard for the neighbors. I mean, it was thumping.
You know how Lord is. Like, this church is thumping.
Like, on our home theater set.
No, this apartment is very good at blocking noise because they've had multiple little DJ sessions, and you can only hear things when you're in the hallway.
Yeah, that's true.
This is great.
Well, I'm telling you, from that bedroom, it was loud.
Oh my God. All right, Caleb, your music or media, whatever. I don't even care. What is it?
Oh, my show. Do I have a show?
You can also do like music or like anything else but a show.
I'd like to say my show.
I know.
You don't know what it is. It's Parenthood.
Oh my God.
Oh, you do know.
Karen's always watching a show.
It's already done. They've cycled through, but I just started watching it, and then I texted my like mom and sister, and I was like, "Have you guys seen the show?" And they're like, "Yeah, I cried every episode," and so have I. So it's a great show.
I find him cry on the couch a lot.
Oh my God!
It just because my family was supposed to come here, and then coronavirus happened, so then I'm already like itching to like be around them, and then I'm watching the show, and like this girl moves from her city like in with her family, and then like they're all together again, and they're happy, and it's a whole thing.
Oh,
so my recommendation is I just had it and I lost it. What's the show? Will and Grace. Will and Grace is such a good show, and I am so sad that it's getting canceled, but it's
wasn't it already canceled?
It was canceled. It had like 8 seasons, got canceled, came back like 10 years later. And I think it's so funny, easy to watch, nice gay comedy. It's great.
So guys, I finally started one of Caleb's recommendations. No one's gonna I'm running this podcast, like none of you guys are helping. So my recommendation is it's Schitt's Creek. I did start it. I've only been watching it for I think 5 days, and I'm on season 5.
Her ability to blaze through shows is unmatched.
But I took one of your recommendations.
What?
We've got to get her a job.
Yeah, I know.
I have been straight chilling during this quarantine. It's been a nice month off.
Oh my God.
But I definitely recommend Schitt's Creek. It's really funny, and I like it. So
yeah, another easy watch.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Next up in our tradition is an intention for the week.
What kind of intention?
It's really hard. I struggle every single week.
I don't know. I mean, it can be simple, like something you.
Sometimes mine's more of like a to-do list.
Well, my intention for the week would be to close some deals that I would like to close.
Amen.
There's a few that I have that are sitting out there in the world, so. And they're secrets.
He is scary.
My intention is to maybe take a little bit more time off this week. I could use some relaxing days.
That's funny because mine's the actual opposite.
I do. I want 2 days off.
Yeah, Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, but I
usually I feel like we're like working like dogs on the weekends.
Yeah, the weekends are hard.
Well, yeah, that's because you guys always want to do the podcast.
We do the podcast.
I'm always pounding the weekends. That's the only time I ever work. Yeah, my intention for this week is
no one asked her.
Like literally no one cares about me. It's fine. My intention for the week is to not get overwhelmed with getting back into the swing of things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I really haven't. I've been wallowing in my home, as I should have been. But it's going to be a lot to have places to go and things to have to do. I was just
thinking about that. Like, everyone has to go back to normal life.
Oh my gosh. I can imagine like working like a 9 to 5 or like someone where you had to actually answer to them because I don't answer to you. So
like those people like in normal offices, a lot of them aren't even like going back, even though like they're able to in a sense.
Yeah.
Just because like their offices are trying to figure out like proper protocol for all of them.
Yeah.
But like with us, it's like
there's only 3 of us.
The only place we're going is
here. This is the office.
Like this is the live stream space. This is the office. This is the editing room. This is
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Multifunctional apartment.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us
Yes.
on this episode. Thank you, Cameron, for being our guest with no fee.
With no fee. You can follow Cameron at Cameron Moody on Instagram. You can follow me at HaleyJordan12, Caleb at The Fitness Marshal. But most importantly, you can follow at Coffee with My Ex on Instagram. And if you aren't watching this on YouTube, you should try watching on YouTube because it's just like, I love watching podcasts on YouTube. It's just like, it's more fun that way.
I don't listen to them. I only watch them.
I need a visual.
I love a visual. So, Caleb.
Coffee with my ex. And boyfriend.